Good morning, y'all. I know everybody has got a bag of bags somewhere in their kitchen. Somebody's got a calendar, and about everybody's got paper towels. I got this hanging in my kitchen, and I rearranged my kitchen, so now I don't have anywhere to put my bag of bags. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a box on the back of here, and my paper towel holder's falling apart, and it's up underneath my cabinet, taking up valuable space. So I want to take this, put my bags behind it, and my paper towels underneath of it. And we're going to put a little drawer to put the extras in there so this slides in and out. And they can all stay right together. So this is 3/4 inch plywood. I got some 3/4 inch up in the ceiling from a table I took apart. And we're going to make a paper towel holder, calendar, bag holder. So stay tuned and I'll show you how it's done. So a little bit about this table. My kids used to do their homework on this table. But with the integration of laptops and iPads in the schools, there was less and less paperwork to do and more digital. So the table just became a catch-all. So we decided to have the floor space instead of the table space. Judging by the dust, it's been up here a while. Now, I don't have SketchUp or any of those fancy design programs yet, so I'm just kind of winging it here. I took the size of a brand new roll of paper towels and I transferred it over and kind of got an idea where I wanted to be with it. Most of the projects for my house are built like this. Everything is custom. So with a little bit of an idea, I need to knock this factory edge off this. It's got a round over on it, and I want it to sit flush against the wall. So I'm going to knock that round over off with a joiner, and then we'll take it over to the table saw, and we'll cut it down to 7 1/4 inches. See the round over? All gone now. 7 1/4 inches seems to be about what that round edge is, so that's what we're going to go with. And because I need a good reference for my miter saw, I went ahead and cut just a C hair off that round part. That way it'll reference flat against the miter saw and it'll be nice and tight against the wall when I screw it down. I don't know why I flipped it over and ran it through again, but you know, live and learn, I guess. So over at the miter saw, I'm going to cut off as much of this as I can, just because I'm going to put it on the belt sander next and round it out. Now, earlier you seen me draw the line with a compass to make a nice little circle. Well, I'm going to round it down, get it all nice and clean. That way I can get it with a trim router and nothing skips on the bearing. A little bit of double-sided tape, and we'll stick it down to my first board that I will be using. And like I said, put it on a trim router, we'll hog it out and get that first one all done, nice and rounded up. Now once I have the first one all nice and clean on that edge, I take the first board and I stick it down to the other board I'll be using, and I run that trim router all the way around it. That way I have 2 identical parts. And while it's stuck together with a double-sided tape, I figure it was a good time to drill the hole for the paper towel roll. Now this next part was a great idea. Executed wrong, but a great idea. If you notice, I'm using the trim router to go along the top edge of this calendar. That way the piece that comes off will match up perfectly. And like I said, it was a great idea. Actually worked really well. Except this is the drawer front that's going to match up with the bottom of the calendar. So, yeah. See? Nice tight fit to the top. Dumbass. So I had to get my spindle sander out and clean it up and just kind of dial it in to fit the bottom. And it took a few minutes, wasn't too long, but look at that, nice fit. I'm going to be using biscuits to hold this together, and I'm not talking about KFC biscuits. I'm talking about the kind of biscuits you cut with a biscuit cutter. So I had to lay them all out. Now the calendar itself is 3/4 inch plywood. The table is like 5/8. So I need to adjust for that. But once I get everything laid out, I can start cutting the biscuits. So laying out for internal biscuits was a little hard. I needed 3 hands. I don't have 3 hands. I need some of them corner clamps. But I think for right now, I'm just going to use my head and eyeball it. This works okay, I guess. My parents always told me I should use my head for more than a hat rack. I'm using a 1-2-3 block here in this corner. That way my lines will match up perfectly from the bottom to the side. I tried to use a square, didn't work. Tried to use a speed square, didn't work. So this worked. So I figured 3 biscuits in each side of this should be more than enough to hold it and align it. And it looked like a pretty good idea. Now, this next part, I'm a little upset with myself because I put the biscuits in the side of the calendar, which means they need to go in the front of this workpiece, not on the side. I just realized that. I'm not happy. Screw it. I'll fill it. Now, let's lay out for the right place to put the biscuits. Now I have the right idea. But you know what? I'll be damned. I laid it out, got all my marks, and I decided this was going to be easier to do in the vise. So I put it in the vise, and wouldn't you know it, I done it again. Biscuits in the side. Had to make a new piece. So I went ahead, I drilled the holes in the new piece for my nailer strip. This will just get 2 screws through the side of each side to hold the nailer strip in place. And then once I got all my holes drilled, you can see the 2 holes there for the bags. I went ahead and put a round over on everything on just the outsides, not the insides. So with all my individual pieces cut and rounded over, it's time to assemble this project. I put the glue down, put some biscuits in, and I start to assemble. Quickly realizing that I must have made an error somewhere because this stuff is not aligning well at all. I don't know if I'm trying to put the wrong sides in or what I'm doing, but it's just not fitting well together at all. So I get out my trusty persuasive tool and I proceed to beat the crap out of it. While beating the crap out of it, I realized that I broke that top board. So I had to take the vacuum cleaner and some glue and use the vacuum cleaner to suck the glue down into the cracks, and then I had to put some clamps on it. And it turned out okay. It should hold. A little bit of pocket holes here for the drawers. Now I put a 10-degree angle on the drawer front to get in where it's cut out for the round piece. I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch dado, a 1/2 inch deep, into the outside of the side of the drawer. And I'm going to try to use some hardwood drawer runners for this particular drawer. I've never tried it before, so I want to see how well it slides and works. And you'll see. So after I got that dado done, I put the 1/4 inch in there and I cut a 1/4 inch dado on the inside. This is where the bottom of my drawer will rest when I put it together. I got to admit, I like doing dados this way better than putting a dado stack in the saw. Like most of my drawers here recently, we'll be putting this one together with pocket holes. Now, I'm using 3/4 inch pocket hole screws and glue, and that should be plenty strong enough for this little tiny drawer. I'm using a face board so that I can get the board right out to the edge of the drawer front. Once I got it all nice and flush, I'll put one screw in it, double check it, and then I'll put the second screw in it. Now, I do this with both sides just to make sure everything is nice and flush. With both sides on, now we can start on the back. I went ahead and drilled 4 pocket holes on the back board, and they will drill right into the sides. You can put glue on each side because it's a little hard to get glue on the other side once you have it pocket holed to the side of the board. So we get the pocket holes in, we flip it over, and put the other 2 in. And in no time at all, we have made a tiny little drawer to go in this paper towel holder. The last thing I need to do before finishing this thing is put this little flap door on it. I'm not going to use it a whole lot, but in case I need to get in there and clean, we kind of need to get a way to get my hand in there because the little 2-inch holes on the side are not going to be enough. I just used a piano hinge and everything fits nice and tight. So the golden oak stain is the closest thing I could find to what the calendar was originally stained in. I couldn't sand down the calendar, put new stain on it because everything on that calendar is hand painted. And if I'd have ruined it, my wife would have killed me. Speaking of my wife, once I got all the stain on here, I need to figure out what I'm going to do for the rod that holds the paper towels in. I have the old rod, but it's too long for this new paper towel holder, so I need to cut it down. I don't really like the rolling pin look because, well, the rolling pin indentions don't really fit into the indentions in the paper towel holder, so I'm just going to cut those off. I could have bought a new dowel and made a whole new rod, but why would I do that when I have this one that I can repurpose? All I gotta do is just shorten it up and sand it, and it'll be good as new. So I take it and I mark where I want my indentions to be. I do it on both sides of the 5/8 boards that I'm using. I could have used a measuring tape, I know, but this is the easiest way, the fastest way, and it got it done pretty good. Oh, hey! You walked in right when I was finishing up. Put a little oil on the towel rod here. And there we go. I don't have a lathe here in my shop, so I took it to where I do have access to a lathe. And we got her sanded up pretty nice. Got some grooves cut in it. And it'll sit there nice and pretty. Now, I got November in there because we are right here on the 2nd. My birthday is down here on the, that's Turkey Day. My birthday's up here. But it's all done. Our drawer is all finished up. Works good. Got our extra months in here. Lifts out so it doesn't fall out. We got some hardwood runners down here that the dados slide into. You see this nice little groove there? Matches up pretty nice. Now, down here on the bottom is my nailer strip. I'll put 2 screws in here, and then I'll flip the lid up so that I can put 2 screws in there. I'm probably not going to use that lid too much because, well, hopefully I don't have to use it at all. But I put it in there just in case I need to get in there and clean or take the spiders out, you know, what have you. Now, the whole reason for the build was that bag of bags. I've already put most of that bag of bags in there. Wad them up into a ball. Got a hole on top. In the hole they go. Then when you want one, for whatever reason, out the hole they come. Ball them up. Push them in. Grab you one. Off you go. Everything's all right in the same place. So you got your calendar, your bags, and your paper towels all in one. Now this drawer, it is large enough for those special utensils. If you really wanted safety, you could put a lock on this drawer because there's a lip under here. My G42 utensil fits in there pretty nice. You know, you got to have your certain kitchen utensils. But some of y'all may not have special utensils. You can put other stuff in there. Put it up high enough, keep it out of reach of children. But anyway, this is all done. I'm gonna let it dry and put it up in my kitchen. This is the old one. As you can see, it didn't have much time left on it. That side's still pretty solid. But this will, man, them could be handy. We'll keep these for something. We're not going to get rid of those. This is going in the garbage though. So, that'll do it for today. I have a pallet to take apart, and I gotta hang this thing up sometime. Alright, see y'all later.